My guest today is Pablo Castillo. Pablo is the CEO and CTO of Chain4Travel, reinventing travel with Web3. Fascinating. We will, of course, learn all about this today, but welcome to the show, Pablo.
Hi, Andy. Pleasure being here.
Hey, it is a pleasure having you here, Pablo. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. It would be cool if you could please introduce yourself. I'd love to hear some of your personal and professional backstory. Yeah, what have you been doing in the lead up to getting involved with the team at Chain4Travel?
Wonderful. So I'm Pablo. I'm co-founder and CEO, CTO of Chain4Travel. Been working all my life actually in the travel industry. So my first job was actually to sell trips for a tour operator here in Switzerland, where I was born and raised. And basically then the internet came along early 2000s, and I found that fascinating because I saw a lot of potential in that new technology, even if some of the companies I used to work with didn't see that. So for instance, to give you an example there, I used to work for a company where in 2001 I had the chance to buy Booking.com, and they didn't believe in internet and that companies would actually, or customers would buy room nights in the internet. So they missed it, and I see a lot of parallels of what we do today. Yeah, and after 25 years in the travel industry, I got honestly a little bit fed up with the lack of innovation in the industry. So that's why I decided to quit my former job, went traveling with my family. That's what we folks in the travel industry usually do. And during that trip, I got the chance actually to co-found Chain4Travel, which, as the name implies, is a blockchain for the travel industry.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, I think, the way we should start then, Pablo, is give us just a sense of the vision for Chain4Travel, high level vision statement, and just kind of lay out what you guys are trying to do. I imagine it's quite an ambitious undertaking, almost a rethinking of the travel industry from the bottom up. So yeah, what is the vision for Chain4Travel?
So travel industry is actually a very fragmented and old-fashioned industry in many ways. I mean, you experience that yourself when you're traveling, and there's some kind of disruption. There's no automated processes. There's a lot of manual work involved, a lot of frustration. And so Chain4Travel, on the one hand side, we have two visions. On the one hand side, use Web3 technology to mitigate some of the issues we have today. Payment costs, transaction cost, lack of automatization, lack of standardization. So create for a decentralized industry like travel, a decentralized backbone, as you can call it. And then on the other hand, is actually to prepare the industry for what we know is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. So we know digital wallets are already here. They're becoming more and more powerful. We know that digital IDs, so digital identities, are becoming more and more a topic, especially here in Europe. We have the UID wallet project, which is being rolled out starting next year. And we know that apart from crypto and stablecoins, CBDC is going to matter. So if you take only these three pillars, like the digital wallet, digital IDs, and digital money, I would say 95% of the travel industry is not ready for it because our systems are not up for it. We cannot handle this kind of wallet connect. And so this is basically our mission to prepare the industry for Web3 and bring travel to Web3 and Web3 to travel. Because also a lot of our partners from the Web3 space, they crave for, real world assets, PIN as the new buzzwords go. So basically, using blockchain technology in our daily life to make.
Yes, indeed. Pablo, I think it would be good also, you kind of hinted at it, but just maybe explain some of the challenges in the travel industry, because I suppose people can understand that, the nature of travel means effectively traveling around the world, which means you're going to deal with a number of different countries, airlines, passport controls, different laws and regulations and ID requirements, not to mention the currencies and all these things, which I suppose all add up to different pain points and the user experience. But there's just try, and then if something goes wrong and you need to change a plane ticket, of course, that can be very disrupting as well. So look, paint a picture of kind of where the travel industry is as an ecosystem and what some of those pain points are, and then we can potentially talk about how we can start to help solve them.
So let's start maybe with money. So, I mean, the travel industry in general is a very low margin business. A lot of people don't know that, but actually having as a travel company a 1% EBIT margin is already considered good. So we are more into the volume business than the margin business. And now the average payment cost in the travel industry is something between 2 and 3%, even sometimes up to 4% or 5%, depending which kind of banks and loyalty schemes are involved. And we have 24 billion of fraud every year because of stolen credit cards. So imagine only by using stable coins instead of virtual credit cards or credit cards as payment fraction, you as a travel company are basically able to cut in half your payment costs. And this literally translates into doubling your EBIT. So that's a very pragmatic one that especially the CFO understands very well. Now, our industry is built on foundations or technological foundations, which are older than I am. This is no joke. I'm already 44 years old, but airlines and also other bigger tour operators and other system suppliers are still using systems who are already several decades old. And now we are talking about AI for us, right? I mean, also AI, a lot of travel companies are investing a lot of money and resources into AI because they think, okay, we can do customer service, there's autonomous customer service and so on. But the reality is we are not ready for AI because on the one side, the backend systems don't support them. That's reality. The other reality as well is that, for instance, we generate a lot of data in our industry. Let's take reviews, for instance. TripAdvisor, for as one example, had to delete 3 million of reviews only this year because most of those reviews were fake. So this is also something where blockchain technology can help a lot by having verified reviews, which then can be fed as verified data into AI. Another problem we have in our industry is the form of or lack of standards. I mean, you hinted to it. The travel industry is actually the second largest industry worldwide. So every out of $10, every 10th dollar goes actually into the travel industry. So there's a lot of volume being generated. And that also means we have a lot of different kind of actors and everybody's using different systems. We need translators in that, and often there that automatization gets stuck. We can maybe bring a booking from A to B to C to D, but the moment there's an update or a disruption, this flow is interrupted. So people don't have access to the latest update of the booking and so on. And here we see a great potential as well with smart contracts or having access through privacy rules, of course, as well, to a decentralized ledger where the data is. And you also hinted to one of the biggest problems we have is legislation. Every country has complete different legislation. Some need visa, some don't need visa. So here as well, in the future, we really see that this will be much more connected and seamless. Since I started in the industry, actually, we've always been talking about connected trip, seamless travel experience. But I think we all can agree, because we travel all a lot, that this is not the reality. I mean, if there are no problems, usually you don't experience that. But also there are a lot of things we can actually improve. For instance, check-ins, skipping the queues. Why do I need to check in at the hotel again if I already have given my data at the time of booking, and so on and so on? And I think the technology is already there. We only need to connect the dots.
Yeah, very well explained, Pablo. And look, if we talk about that technology, then a simple way to look at it is as a simple technology stack. So we've talked about so far Chain4Travel, which the reason Chain4Travel works is because it kind of it explains exactly what you're doing. It's blockchain for travel. But really, another way of understanding Chain4Travel is, you guys are kind of the lab that is creating, I think, a layer one specific blockchain for the travel industry, which of course is called the Camino Network. So maybe just explain a little bit about the Camino Network and perhaps how it's optimized for travel use cases.
Well, I mean, when we started the project, we had, of course, a lot of existing protocols out there. I mean, last time I counted, there were like 13,000 blockchains, and every year 30 to 50 new protocols emerged. Lots to interview for you. But what we saw is that most of those protocols are really focused on one size fits all, right? So I mean, there are multiple of different use cases, multiple of different kind of restrictions being tried to put on one size. This actually, we believe much more in an industry-specific solution, because then you can also develop industry-specific solutions on top of that. That's why we founded Camino. Technically speaking, we are a layer one. We are EVM compatible. We are a fork of Avalon. And what sets us a little bit apart is definitely who runs the validator. So all our validators are from the travel industry. Each company is allowed to run one validator node because those validators are also the government, the Camino Network, and they vote. So we have built an on-chain voting, which then executes certain things automatically on-chain if the majority of the votes falls. So depending on how the vote goes. Also, our validators can actually vote on the transaction fee. That's also something where we saw that the business models for a lot of companies, not only are actually endangered because most of the blockchains still work like, okay, the more traffic there is, the higher the gas fees. This is a low margin business like travel. They want to know what does it cost to it as an NFT, what it costs transaction, because they need to steer it, they need to budget it. So once our Camino token will be listed until the year, then basically the Camino token will be volatile. So there's no fixed cost, but it will be a volatile cost. And of course, our validator needs the ability to adapt that. For instance, you can't do that on autopilot. So those are some of the reasons why we forked and created an OMI system. And one other one is as well, Web3 is quite the new to travel. There are a few travel products out there like Travala, like TravelX, who have been already building applications in the Web3 technology space. But they are all on different blockchains. And if you fast forward that in 20 years, we will end up in the same mess like we are today. So everybody is using a different tech stack. You need bridges or interoperability to combine that. That's why we said, okay, let's turn it around and create one blockchain for the travel industry, which is run and controls by the travel industry.
And of course, there is a token, the CAM token, which is the utility token, right?
Yeah, so it's the native token of the Camino blockchain. There are different utilities to it. So on the one hand side, you pay for gas, so the transaction fee is paid in Camino. You, as a validator, need 100,000 Caminos to be eligible to run a validator, and also the voting system, which is some Camino for us. On the B2C side, there is also some utilities. So we have partners in our network who already offer discounts for travel products in case you are a CAM token holder, so it's being used for loyalty purposes as well. And some of our partners also accept Caminos as payment for. And from a legal perspective, it's a utility and payment token. So we are legal.
Very good, very good. Give us a sense then in terms of where Camino is at the moment in terms of, I guess, anything that's relevant from the kind of the product rollout, the protocol going live, getting validators onto the network, and then I guess the key piece of the puzzle, bringing together different parts of the travel industry into the network to participate.
So as of today, we have more than 220 travel-related companies in our ecosystem. Half of them opted to become a validator. So we have more than 100 validators in our network. 60% of them are roughly live. Since the launch of the mainnet last year, we have validated more than 300,000 transactions so far. By end of the year, we expect 1 million transactions. And this number, of course, sounds very low compared to the figures that other blockchain boosts. But mind you, our token is not tradable. There's no NFT marketplace on top of that. So those are real-world interactions. And we were kind of proud that, especially this year, we were able to gain some partners on board. Like, for instance, Lufthansa Group, who has built different kind of use cases already, who are now exploring on the one hand side sustainability topics like sustainable airline fuels, tokenizing that, putting it transparent chain. They're also working now on using stablecoins for payments, cross-border payments using stablecoin to do settlement within the industry. And this kind of big programs, of course, are very interesting for us because they attract a lot of interest in our industry. We work with different kind of levels of companies, so bigger, smaller ones across different verticals. We work as well with startups. So one startup just recently launched as well a novel type of insurance. So imagine having the ability to have an on-chain insurance and you can cancel for any reason without having to basically send in some complicated documents to claim your insurance rewards and so on. So there are a lot of interesting projects happening right now. We have lost about roughly 90 active projects at the moment, being developed by more than 50 different partners. And I think we are now at the point, the first year, there's a lot of building the infrastructure. Then the second year, there's a lot of education of the ecosystem, because this is one of the biggest challenges. Our partners are B2B companies, and most of them just came out of Corona. So it means they are still catching up with all the business they lost during Corona. And they also have, of course, long roadmaps still in place, which they need to catch up to. And now there are a lot of new topics, new technologies coming, like blockchain, AI, and so on. And overall, we are quite satisfied with the progress so far, and looking forward to a lot of new projects being launched in the next few months.
Fantastic to hear, Pablo. Look, love to go through just, some different, I suppose, Web3 travel-based narratives for you, and you can, explain in terms of how they would work, what the kind of potential addressable market is, and how that's looking at the moment. For example, one of the key trends in crypto at the moment, of course, apart from meme coins, is, the tokenization of real-world assets. And that is, of course, extremely relevant in travel as well, because the amazing thing about, an RWA real world asset can really be anything from, art to various luxury items,
Yeah.
or something like, an airline booking, a loyalty point package, something like that. So how do you see that, let's just say, tokenization opportunity, if that is applied to the travel industry? What does that start to look like?
Absolutely. I mean, the funny thing is, this is nothing new for the travel industry. We've been doing this. We call it mutualization, actually, for more than 60 years. The first booking channels came up, booking systems. I mean, if you book today a package in the internet or a flight, this flight has also been virtualized, actually, to be online available to people, right? So, but what this kind of new tokenization narrative allows to is definitely instant transfer, change of ownership. So, I mean, we are involved approach with airports to start to tokenize airport slots, for instance, or a startup or from the sustainability side, they're tokenizing trees. They call it NF trees on chain. So we really make it traceable what happened with those trees over the lifetime. So there are a lot of new things coming up, which so far in the industry could not be done. Technology was quite restrictive. And something we found out as well, that a lot of new kind of business model, but also financing model can be applied. Because, for instance, as well, there are hotels or hotel chains now looking at tokenization of the whole hotel, basically crowdfunding and selling a fraction of that hotel to certain owners, and then also selling benefits to them. So all these real-world asset narratives you found on other industries, and also apply to the travel industry.
Yes, indeed. And another one that's really fun to think about, Pablo, which just makes perfect sense as well, is something like TravelFi, right? So TravelFi obviously is DeFi for the travel industry, but, again, I guess building on what you were talking about before, some of the problems in the travel industry, things like high commission rates, slow payments around the world, delays with, cancellations and messy delay stuff going on. No easy way sometimes to access and use loyalty points that might be expiring. Talk to us about TravelFi. How is TravelFi a potential game changer?
Yeah, on one hand side, as you just mentioned, it will simplify a lot of things now that we can actually create digital wallets for every customer as well, and also for companies can much easier exchange values. I mean, one more example, for instance, is flight delays, right? I mean, if I as an airline know that my customers at the airport, I don't only need to send him an SMS informing him about the flight delay, but I could also send him $100, like saying, hey, go to McDonald's or go to Starbucks and have something on us. So it's definitely the whole value flow in the ecosystem will be very, very streamlined, I would say, at a much lower point of cost. And as you also mentioned, loyalty is a huge topic. I mean, most of the travel companies have some kind of loyalty problem. Also there we have the problem. There's no standards, there's no interoperability. It's very hard if you have Marriott points gathered to exchange that for holiday in hotels, right? Now more and more companies are actually looking at blockchain. For instance, Singapore Airlines since 2017, their all KrisFlyer point system is actually based on an internal blockchain. And interesting enough, what they did is because most of the travelers never get to a normal tier where you have a free flight or you get lounge access or something like that. They start doing micro tokenization. So meaning you can actually use your points for micro spendings at the airport. You want to buy a coffee, use your points and so on, and make this exchange. So I think the whole value flow is one thing. It allows us as well to create value out of loyalty programs. And then, of course, it's the whole programmability. It's contracts. I mean, in our industry, cash flow is super important. Usually, you know that as well. When you book a flight for today, or let's say in 4 months' time, you have to pay today. So these are forward flows. But there as well, I mean, we can rematching completely the way that money flows in future if both disagree on this track, or automate payouts to suppliers, etc., etc. So that topic definitely, I think we have scratched the surface right now. We have the first use cases live. See already stable coins are coming, and a lot of companies are very interested to explore potential stable coins, for instance, on Camino as well, because there's a lot of problems they have else.
Yeah, very well said, Pablo. And I suppose the last one, which seems a little bit more obvious, but yes, NFT ticketing, travel tickets as NFTs. Does that make sense?
A lot. And not only travel tickets, but also think concert tickets or music tickets. I mean, alone in the US, the fraud with tickets is 4 billion a year. And we already have some ticket providers on our platform who it's a complete Web2 experience. So the customer doesn't even notice that there is blockchain involved. But a few years ago, they already turned to blockchain because they said, hey, this is great. I can generate the ticket, a QR code, which is linked to a digital asset on blockchain. The moment it gets scanned, I can destroy that ticket because then you cannot copy it, right? Also, it allows actually for new kind of business models. I mean, we all know if you go on booking.com or any other OTA, you usually have two choices of fares. You have the refundable rates, a little bit more expensive, more flexible, and you have the non-refundable rates, which means you book now and you cannot cancel. In case you cancel, you have 100%. Now, more and more companies are exploring something in between, which are resellable tickets, like saying, okay, from a supplier perspective, I want to sell something and want to secure the money, right? And at the same time, I want to give some flexibility to the customer, but not full flexibility because else I'm in danger to lose my turnover because he can cancel like 1 day prior arrival. So now if you say, okay, you can book with me, you have some kind of discount still, but you are allowed to you're not allowed to cancel, but you're allowed to transfer that to somebody else. Then suddenly NFT marketplaces have complete other meaning. You can transfer tickets, bookings, flight tickets. And there are a few use cases already live on that in our world, doing that on a daily basis.
Yeah, makes sense, Pablo. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts there. I suppose as we start to finish up this part of the podcast, for anyone listening, perhaps they are a traveler, or perhaps even better, they work in some part of the global travel industry. What is the best place for people to go to start to learn more about Chain4Travel, about the Camino Network, and potentially look to get involved? What should they do? Where should they go?
So the one inside, we have, of course, we are present in different social channels. Our websites are always up to date. So there's a lot of explanatory content. I think for those who like to read our white paper. It's quite comprehensive and it lays out the broader vision of our ecosystem. And else, for those who like to watch movies, I would definitely go on our YouTube channel of Chain4Travel. And there you will also find actually all the videos from our partners who have been presenting at our last event. Basically, Lufthansa presenting theirs, some bigger other names are presenting their use cases. And this will give us a good range of what can be done with this technology in the travel space.
And are you finding, Pablo, just with the market picking up in recent times, particularly so with Bitcoin, but, that always drags the entire crypto Web3 ecosystem up a little bit, maybe still taking a little bit longer for kind of the Web3 metaverse NFT narratives to come back, but it looks like they will. Do you find that it's easier to get more people interested, or more people are coming to you because those it's becoming, like a more welcoming again, shall we say?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, at the moment, the media writes more and you hear more about this kind of crypto space, Web3 space. Now, as well as the new narratives that we are not only talking about financial solutions or crypto as per se, which is only one of the many use cases you can employ this technology. We're talking about real world assets. We're talking about the decentralized physical infrastructure, and all this stuff suddenly starts to resonate as well. What happens? Of course, there's a lot of interest from parties. Now we are also, since 3 years, actually building the ecosystem. So we are, at least in the travel industry, kind of known. Now we are also creating partnerships with Web3 companies like Outline Venture, Fireblocks, where we are integrated. So this all helps as well a little bit to get some recognition in the space. But yes, overall, I would say last year what we noticed, it was a lot about AI, the AI. And now I think there is maybe the peak of AI has gone over, and a little bit people are now realizing, hey, AI alone doesn't make sense. We need to look at the broader picture. And of course, the market itself, that helps a lot. And yes, definitely getting more interest, and looking forward to list our own token by end of the year. So let's see how that goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Pablo, it is time to finish up the podcast. And we do that, of course, by running you through the very famous crypto conversation hot take round. Are you up for it?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Pablo, I'm just going to run some questions at you. Just want you to give me your honest answers, hot take style. Question 1 for you is, where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
Sorry to say again.
Just really, are you a Bitcoin maximalist, or are you open to the idea of a multi-chain universe?
Multi-chain universe.
Yes, I thought you'd say that. That's absolutely all good. All right, Pablo, what would you say is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
I think we should not limit ourselves to crypto to look at DeFi. So really use the power of the technology. We ourselves see us as a travel technology company, which use blockchain technology and happens to have an own token. So I think most of the narratives for us too much strong built around tokens and less what we can do with the technology.
Yes, indeed. Well said. Pablo, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. In 10 years' time, so anything you like here, travel on the blockchain, Web3, the Camino Network, Chain4Travel, what does it all look like in 10 years' time?
So today we are already present in all the continents. I would love to see more validators on all those continents. So I would love to see our network grow, and definitely also attract new verticals, which we have not been talking to, like cruise industry and others. Travel is, as said, one of the second largest industries. So there's a lot of opportunity. And if we really are able to build this backbone and connect all those different industries into one single platform, that would be, I think, a huge step forward for everybody, for companies.
Yes, indeed. All right, William Gibson said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Can you think of an example, Pablo, of the future being here right now, but most people aren't aware of it?
Technology is here, but there's still a lack of education or misperception. I mean, still, our industry, often people hear crypto or blockchain and they think scam. So definitely, we need more education. We need more lighthouse projects. We need more to focus on real world usage and problem solving. And then actually, we definitely are a step ahead.
Yes, indeed. All right. And it brings us nicely to our final question, Pablo, which is, what is your favorite science fiction book, a film, or TV show?
Currently, it's Dune. So I read all the books from the Frank Herbert universe, and now currently looking to.
Very nice. I like it. Hey, thank you so much, Pablo,
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Andy.
Yeah, thank you for spending some time with us today. Look, just close it out again by telling people where they can go to learn all about Chain4Travel, Camino Network, and yeah, like where they can find you on X, on Twitter, anywhere else you like to hang out online. Yeah, please go for gold.
Also, you can find us on Camino.network or chain4travel.com. All the other socials as well. Twitter, of course, we have regular Alma sessions. You can learn a lot about our projects and our system. And yeah, follow us on Twitter to get the latest news. And also on Telegram, we have quite an active community showcasing use cases, partners, and yeah, a lot of questions and actually quests ongoing at the moment. So,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pablo. All the best, and bye for now.
thank you, Andy.